Michael is asking you with tears now, not with thunder, not with a commanding voice that shakes the ground beneath your feet, with tears. Because he has seen what is waiting for you on the other side of the next 45 minutes, and he knows that some of you will close this before it reaches you. That is why he is weeping, not out of sorrow, out of love that cannot be measured in human words. He has been standing over your life, watching you carry weight that was never yours to carry, watching you smile through pain that would have broken others, watching you hold on when every logical reason to let go was screaming at you. And now, after all of that, the window is open. The 2-minute miracle is not coming. It is already here. It is already moving. The only question heaven is asking right now is whether you will stay long enough to receive it. Hear this with your spirit and not your logic, my beloved, because what is happening in this moment does not operate by the rules you were taught. This is not coincidence. This is not an algorithm that placed this in front of your eyes by accident. You were guided here because your name was written on this moment before you were born. The timing was not early. It was not late. It landed in the exact second your soul became ready to receive what has been circling your life quietly, patiently, without announcement. Heaven does not waste precision, and this moment is the most precise thing that has happened to you in a very long time. Michael is weeping because he knows what you have endured. He saw the nights you went silent because no one around you could hold the weight of what you were feeling. He saw the prayers you whispered into the dark when the room was empty and the hope felt thin. He saw the moments you chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier. He saw you forgive people who never apologized. He saw you keep moving when stopping felt like the only honest option. Every single one of those moments was recorded. Heaven does not forget what it witnesses. And tonight, everything witnessed is being returned to you. There was something stolen from your bloodline long before you had language for pain. A cycle of delay, of almost, of nearly there, and then pulled back again, began generations before you arrived. You did not create that pattern, but heaven has decided in this hour that you will be the one to end it. The release that is coming toward you in the next 2 minutes feels large because it is carrying compensation. It is not just for you. It is for the prayers your mother prayed that went unanswered in her lifetime. It is for the endurance of people who came before you, who held on so that you could stand where you are standing right now. That is why this feels different. That is why something in your chest already knows that this moment is real. The 2-minute activation does not require anything dramatic from you. You do not need to shout. You do not need to perform. You do not need to explain what you are feeling to anyone around you. All heaven is asking for is a quiet yes. A yes that comes from the part of you that is still soft after everything life has pressed against it. Say it now, gently, inside yourself, without fear. Because the moment that yes leaves your spirit, a shift begins that the natural world will begin responding to. Delays that have held their position for years begin to loosen. Pressure that has been sitting on your chest begins to dissolve. Clarity arrives where confusion has lived for too long. This is not poetic language. This is the architecture of how restoration works. It begins inside you. Then the world follows. In the next 45 minutes,
5 things begin their movement toward you. The first is acceleration. What once took months will begin to happen in days. Timelines that felt frozen will start to move with a speed that surprises you. The second is relief. Something heavy that you have been carrying, something you may have stopped noticing because it became so familiar, will begin to lift. You will feel the difference in how you breathe. The third is return. Something was taken from you that was never meant to leave. It is coming back, not in the same form, elevated, refined, with interest added for every year it was absent. The fourth is a turning point, a message, a meeting, a moment that redirects your entire path. You will recognize it when it arrives because it will feel both completely unexpected and deeply familiar, like remembering something you always knew. The fifth is your rise, into a version of yourself you have not yet met but were always meant to become, a version that carries the wisdom of everything you have walked through without the weight of it. Michael is weeping because your heart stayed soft, because betrayal did not turn you hard, because disappointment did not make you cold, because you kept choosing grace when the world gave you every reason to close. That softness is not weakness. It is the exact frequency that heaven responds to. Every act of empathy you ever offered planted something. Every time you chose to forgive instead of retaliate, a door opened in the spirit realm that no force could shut. Your light survived conditions designed to put it out, and that survival is the reason this miracle has your name on it.
You are not late. You are not forgotten. You have not missed your window. You are standing in it right now. The miracle is already moving toward you, and it knows exactly where to find you. Do not rush past this moment. Do not let doubt whisper that this is not real. Doubt is the only thing that can slow what is already in motion. Stay here. Stay present. Stay soft. Because heaven has leaned close tonight, and what arrives in the next 2 minutes will begin a chapter in your life that makes everything you have been through finally make sense. Michael is not weeping because something is wrong. He is weeping because something beautiful is finally right, and it is yours. Stay here a little longer, my beloved, because there is something Michael still needs you to hear before this window moves into its next phase. What has already been spoken over you is true, but there is a layer beneath it that heaven wants to uncover right now, because incomplete understanding creates incomplete receiving. And you deserve to receive this fully, every single fragment of it. You have spent a long time wondering why certain people left. Not the ones who drifted casually, not the ones who naturally grew in different directions, but the specific ones, the ones you loved deeply, the ones you trusted completely, the ones whose departure left a silence so loud it changed the shape of your daily life. You searched for explanations that made sense. You replayed conversations, looking for the moment things shifted. You questioned whether something in you drove them away. Michael needs you to hear this clearly and without hesitation. Those departures were not your failure. They were heaven's surgery. Every person who left a space in your life created room for something that could not enter while they occupied it. Not because they were evil, not because the connection meant nothing, but because destiny is precise,
and certain futures require certain spaces. The ache you felt in their absence was real. The grief was legitimate, but the removal was merciful, even when it did not feel that way. Heaven does not apologize for protecting you from what looked beautiful, but would have cost you everything. There is also something that needs to be said about the version of yourself you abandoned somewhere along the way. The one who dreamed without editing. The one who believed without evidence. The one who woke up in the morning with a sense of possibility that had not yet been worn down by disappointment. You did not lose that version of yourself. You buried it for safekeeping during a season that was too harsh to carry it openly. But Michael is telling you tonight that the burial is over. That version of you did not die in the ground. It grew there. It grew roots that are stronger than anything the surface version of you has ever known. What emerges from this alignment is not a return to who you were before the pain. It is the arrival of who you were always becoming through it. The difference is enormous. Who you were before the pain was innocent. Who you are becoming after it is indestructible. Heaven also wants to address the shame you have been carrying quietly, the shame of not being further along, the shame of watching others reach milestones while your own timeline felt frozen, the shame of needing things to change so badly that you sometimes questioned your own faith. That shame was never yours to carry. Progress in the spirit realm does not move on a calendar that the human eye can read. What looked like stagnation was foundation. What felt like falling behind was being held back from a road that would have taken you somewhere your destiny could not follow. Every single delay had a reason. Not every reason was visible to you, but Michael has seen the full map, and he is telling you now that the route heaven chose for you, as painful and as winding as it appeared, is the only route that leads to where you are going. There was no shortcut that would have delivered you whole. Let this also settle over you like warmth, my beloved. The miracle approaching you is not fragile. It does not require perfect conditions. It does not require you to be at your strongest or your most composed or your most articulate. It meets you exactly where you are sitting right now, in whatever state your heart is in, with whatever doubt is still lingering at the edges of your belief. Heaven has never required you to be healed before it would help you. It has never asked you to have it all together before it would show up.